This is an instructional video on formatting the body and reference section of a research paper following the guidelines set by the American Psychological Association. At the end of this video, you should be able to correctly structure each section of the body and the reference page. Please direct your attention to the video screen now to start the process. The first step in formatting the body of an APA paper is general formatting. An APA paper should be set to 12-point Times New Roman font. The margins of the paper should be 1 inch and the text should be double spaced. After each sentence in the body of the paper, there should be 2 spaces before the next sentence is started. The title of each section of the paper should begin on a new line in the body and be centered and capitalized. The typical order of an APA paper is as follows. The introduction is the first section of the paper and introduces the reader to the research question being asked and provides a review of the relevant literature on the subject. Following the introduction is the methods section, which includes a description of the participants in the study, any materials used with the participants, and the procedure, which gives a step-by-step instruction on how the experiment was conducted. Following the methods section is the results section. The results section explains the statistical procedures and the data analyses conducted to support the hypotheses laid out in the introduction section. After the results section is written, the next section is the discussion section. The discussion section is where the authors interpret the findings of the paper, bring up any limitations, and provide direction for future researchers on the topic. The final section of an APA paper is the reference section, where all in-text citations are fully detailed. When creating an in-text citation with one author, use the author's last name and the year of publication for the source. The full reference should then be written in the reference section at the end of the paper. For an in-text citation with 2 authors, there are 2 courses of action. If the in-text citation is in parentheses, then the 2 authors should be separated by an ampersand followed by a comma and the year of publication. If the authors are directly referred to in the text, the authors should be separated by the word "and." This should then be followed by the year of publication in parentheses. For a work with 3 to 5 authors, list all of the authors and the year of publication the first time it is cited. Use the word "and" between the authors' names within the text and use the ampersand in parentheses. In subsequent citations, use the first author's name followed by the words "et al., then the year of publication." If you are citing multiple works for the same sentence, the citations should be placed in alphabetical order according to the last name of the first author of each publication. These citations should be separated by a semicolon. The final step in creating an APA paper is formatting the reference page. The reference page should be at the end of your document starting on a new page. At the top of the page, the word "references" should be centered and capitalized. Each reference should start at the margin with no indentation. The hanging indentation should be set to 1/2 inch from the margin. To create the reference for a journal article, the first author's name should be first, starting with the last name and then followed by a comma with the author's first and middle initials. The authors should be listed in order of scientific contribution to the paper. After each author is included, the year should appear in parentheses followed by a period. Next, the title of the article should appear, capitalizing only the first word and the first word after a colon, followed by a period. Next, the title of the journal should be italicized, followed by a comma. This should be followed by the volume number, which is also italicized. The issue number comes next, in parentheses, and not italicized. Next should be a comma and the pages included, followed by a period. To create the references for a book, the author's name should appear in the same way they would appear for an article, followed by the year of publication in parentheses and a period. Next, the title of the work should be italicized, capitalizing only the first word and the first word following a colon. This title should be followed by a period. Next should be the location of the publisher in plain text, followed by a colon and the name of the publisher, ending with a period. When citing one chapter from a book, the author should appear in the same way, followed again by the year of publication in parentheses and a period. Next should be the title of the chapter in plain text, capitalizing the first word and the first word following a colon. Next, the word "in" followed by the names of the editor should be placed. The editor's names should include the first and middle initials followed by their full last name. After all editors are included, the word "ed" or "eds" should appear in parentheses followed by a comma. Next, the title of the book should appear italicized, with only the first word and the first word after a colon capitalized. After the title, the page of the chapter should be included in parentheses in plain text, followed by a period. Lastly, the location and publisher should be included, separated by a colon and followed by a period. For a web page, the author's name should appear just as before, followed by the date of publication in parentheses and a period. Next, the title of the document should be italicized, capitalizing only the first word and the first word following a colon. After a period, the words "retrieved from" should be followed by the full web address. If there isn't a date available for the web page, substitute ND where the date should be. This concludes the instructions on how to format the body and reference page of an APA paper.